Well, everybody, this is going to be part 4 of my 1980s movie collection. This is going to be the final part of this video, so anyways, no time to waste, let's begin. And before I've shown the rest, here are the tapes that I forgot to show in my last video, so anyways, let's begin. Starting with those tapes. Classic 1940 movie right here that has Henry Fonda and John Corio, which John Corio did the voice of the Great Owl in The Secret of NIMH. The print date's Independence Day 1998, and the 27th week of 1998. Put these tapes right here because there's not enough room with the others. So, yep. October 20th, 1992. And this tape is probably recycled, so yep. Classic 1978 movie right here that has Jane Fonda, Bruce Dern, and Jon Voight. October 5th, 1990. And if you guys haven't seen this movie, definitely recommend it soon. So, yep. This movie came out in 1983, by the way. And I haven't seen this movie yet, unfortunately, but I will soon. July 28th, 1993. And I did rewatch this movie on Friday night. Good Christmas movie right here from 1985 that stars Mary Steenburgen and the late Harry Dean Stanton. September 12th, 1994, so printed a day after and 7 years before 9/11, aka the tragic days of our lives. And lastly, here's the last one before I show the rest. And I will be showing the second Crocodile Dundee movie in a few minutes, so keep an eye on it. July 31st, 1987, and the 31st week of 1987. That's it for the tapes that I forgot to show on my last videos. And now, here are the rest of the 1980s movie collection for 2025 edition. The print date is Halloween 1987. And the 44th week of 1987. Excellent 1987 movie right here. And I do have the 2014 remake, which I have on Blu-ray, which I'm about to show on my 2010s movie collection for early 2026 edition. This movie right here needed a rewatch soon. So, yep. May 10th, 1994. Really good James Bond movie that I've watched back in 2021, which I've watched it a few years ago. September 26, 2000. I did watch this movie back in 2023, and it was a classic, which that movie stars Kevin Costner and the late Gene Hackman. There's no label on this tape, but it has a print date, two print dates. The Invisible Ink print date is February 11th, 1993, and the other print date is February 12th, 1993, in which this tape is a reprint. But even though this is a 1988 VHS by HBO Video, so, yep. Haven't seen this movie yet, unfortunately, but I will soon. Two print dates, June 26, 2002 and July 2nd, 2002, in which this has the Buena Vista, the Great Deal on Movies promo at the beginning of the tape, because it's a 2002 reprint. Classic 1987 movie right here that I've watched back in 2022, along with the sequel, which is Another Stakeout. No printing on this tape, once again. Classic 1987 movie right here that has Jennifer Grey, Jerry Orbach, and the late Patrick Swayze. Once again, I haven't seen this movie yet, but I will soon, so, yep. Um, I think the two print dates are. I don't think this has a print date on the Invisible Ink, but the official print date is October 23rd, 1987, so printed a week before Halloween of that year. Once again, haven't seen this movie yet, but I will soon. Haven't seen this movie in years, so decided this movie needs a rewatch soon. Two print dates. May 3rd, 1988, and both print dates are May 3rd, 1988. Classic 1987 movie that stars the late Diane Keaton. I've watched this movie back in 2023. Classic. So, yep. October 14th, 1991. I did rewatch this movie on Monday, which is a few days before Thanksgiving. Classic 1987 movie for Thanksgiving, which that movie stars Steve Martin and the late John Candy. December 4th, 2000, and printed the 50th week of 2000. Once again, this movie right here needed a rewatch soon. And I had this tape since 2016, which I got from Goodwill almost 10 years ago. And I'm glad I have the original tape from 1988. July 27th, 1992 is the print date. And once again, this movie right here needed a rewatch soon. There. That way it could make some more room here. No printing on this tape. Surprisingly. And classic 1987 movie. Way better than the... Hang on a second, folks. Somebody's knocking on the door. Sorry about that, folks. Melissa's just coming in for a second. So, anyways, let's continue on with this video. Yep, Overboard is a classic that stars Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. So, yep. Classic 1987 movie right here that has Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, and Daryl Hannah. There, that's better. And this is one of my all-time favorite 1987 movies right here. And also, this is one of my good friends, Jada, the Nanny Lover Productions. It's her favorite movie of all time. And Jada, if you're watching this is for you. This is your all-time favorite movie that stars Cher. Your favorite crush. The lid is broken, unfortunately, but hopefully the rest of the tape still plays. July 24th and August 7th, 1988. Classic, underrated Steven Spielberg movie right here that has Christian Bale in his acting debut. August 25th, 2001 and September 5th, 2001. Good morning, Vietnam. Excellent 1987 movie right here that stars the late Robin Williams. And if you guys haven't seen this movie, definitely recommend it in the future. So, yep. Haven't seen this movie yet, unfortunately, but I will soon. Once again, this movie right here needed a rewatch soon. June 21st, 1996 is the Invisible Ink print date. Good sequel to the first Man from Snowy River movie from 1988. That's strange enough. This movie is released by Disney, while the first one's from 20th Street Fox, or known as 20th Street Studios. But this movie, the first one and the second, is now owned by Disney now. So, yep. Which is kind of a coincidence, isn't it? Very coincidence indeed. September 26, 1997. So this is a reprint. This movie right here needed a rewatch soon. May 22nd, 1997. And the 20th week of 1997. I did watch this movie back in 2021. Classic, starring Chevy Chase. Reprint from December 12th, 2001. Classic 1988 movie right here that has Dan Aykroyd and the late John Candy. November 3rd, 1996. So this is a reprint. And the 44th week of 1996. I haven't seen this movie yet, unfortunately, but I've seen the first one back in 2018 and needs a rewatch after years, so yep. And I'm not gonna bother getting Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles because heard it's not as good as the first two, so I'm sticking with the first two Crocodile Dundee movies right here. Print dates are March 6th and March 9th, 1989. And printed the 10th week of 1989. Definitely one of my all-time favorite 1988 movies right here. Love this movie to death. July 27th, 1989. And this is the tape that I have for a very long time, which I had since 2011. Which I had for 14 years. May 2nd, 1996. And the 18th week of 1996. Had taped since 2013. Classic 1988 comedy that has John Cleese, Michael Palin, Kevin Kline, and Jamie Lee Curtis. January 20th, 1999 is the print date. Once again, this movie right here needed a rewatch soon, so, yep. No printing on this tape. And of course, I had the original tape since 2018, which I really really wanted the original since probably 2010s, but I finally had it now since 2018, so yep. February 15th, 1989. And the 7th week of 1989. I remember watching this movie back in 2021. Great 1988 movie that has Matthew Modine and Michelle Pfeiffer. Dean Stockwell is also in this movie as well. And John Cusack is also in this movie as well. So in case you didn't notice, so yep. December 28th, 1988 on the Invisible Ink print date, and the regular print date's January 6, 1989. And this movie needs a rewatch soon, which that movie has the late John Candy, who's the voice of the horse, which is pretty cool, so yep. Great 1988 movie right here that stars Jeff Bridges. And Jeff Bridges will be turning 76 this year, which his birthday's on Thursday, so happy early 76th birthday to him. March 29th, 1989. And the 13th week of 1989. I'll probably do a few more tapes after this, and then I'll stop for part 5. Universal movie, co-made by Warner Brothers. But even though the Warner Brothers logo is not shown at the beginning, only international rights. And I got this tape brand new, which I had since 2017. January 10th and January 14th, 1990. and the second week of 1990s, the week in year code. Okay. I'll do the rest of the tapes, which is I'll do part 5. Part 5 of my 1980s movie collection soon. After I show the rest of the tapes. And then we'll stop here afterwards. I was going to do the final part, but this has a lot of tapes, so part 5 should be the final part after this. So anyways, back to the video. April 20th, 1989. And the week year code's kind of faded, but still, I could still see the week year code. The 16th week of 1989. This movie right here needed a rewatch soon. And this movie has the young Macaulay Culkin, who later plays Kevin in the first 2 Home Alone movies. July 5th, 1997 is the print date, and printed a day after Independence Day that year. Once again, this movie right here needed a rewatch soon. March 5th, 2001, so printed the day before my birthday and a year before I was born. Definitely one of my all-time favorite 1988 movies that stars Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. And this movie won Best Picture as well. And this movie features an autism man named Raymond. July 11th and July 14th, 1989 is the print date. And if you guys haven't seen this movie, definitely recommend it soon. And especially who have autism like me. Still watches the movie. So anyways, 2 more tapes to go before we ended this video. Once again, this movie right here needed a rewatch. July 28th, 1995, and November 18th, 1998. The recycle week in year code's the 30th week of 1995, and the regular week in year code's the 47th week of 1998. And lastly, here's the last Here's the last tape for this video. Good 1988 movie that stars Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey. May 19th, 2000, so this is a reprint. Well, everybody, there you have it for part 4 of my 1980s movie collection for 2025 edition. Stay tuned for part 5, which is the final part. So, anyways, this is Superman V 2002. See y'all later, and hope you have a fun rest of your guys' Sundays. So, yep. And tomorrow will be the first day of December as well. So, yep.